Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Naked with Angie. And today we're getting naked with Bret Maverick.
I didn't even know that's what your podcast was called. I feel bad now that I didn't know. That took me off guard. I should have got naked. Well, now we know. Naked with Angie. That's a great podcast name. Well done.
Yeah, my idea was to, get people to talk like honestly about obviously topics they are comfortable talking about. So
I love it. I've watched a couple, not the full podcast, but I've watched clips and yeah, people definitely open up on Naked with Angie. So here we are. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. This is my first podcast.
Oh, wow. Finally.
Yeah, you're popping my cherry, Angie.
Yes.
It's awesome. I've been wanting to do one for like a long time. Actually, they don't know, but we've been trying to do this since July.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
so this is going to be working. A great teaser. Angie Pop Bret's cherry.
There you go. That's a great title, thumbnail. It's not clickbait because I said it.
Bret, I have so many questions for you.
I'm ready.
Your Instagram says that you're an actor, creator, a meme. Can you elaborate?
Can I elaborate? Yeah. So, creator, actor, meme. I mean, as you guys may or may not know, I'm a YouTuber, social media influencer. I don't like saying that. I don't know why. It kind of makes me cringe. Even like YouTuber to me, that's why it's not in my bio. We have a bad rep. YouTubers just have a bad rep. I'm trying to change that though. Anyways, so yeah, creator, actor. I changed it. That bio was changed after I got the role in Siargao the movie, which is what got me, staying put in the Philippines. So after I had that, I was like, all right, I'm an actor now, so I'm gonna throw it in there. And then the meme thing is like, I just try to take the side away from social media. I don't know. I relate to memes a lot. I'm a goofy guy. That's it. I don't know what else I can say. I've never been asked that before. Let's go. I like this. I told you. Throw it at me. Throw anything at me.
I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to take like seriousness into Instagram while people scrolling on their toilets, their feeds. I'm gonna be like spirituality, mental health,
I love
guys.
It. I love your feed though, because you're like you just talk about everything and anything. Like you're not afraid to put yourself out there, which is what a lot of people are afraid to do, including myself. I'll be honest. Like I hold myself back a lot from what I should be showing through the internet and social media. So yeah, applaud to you for doing you, Angie.
Thank you. I mean, like I think a lot of people think that it's just like easy thing for me to like put out everything, but sometimes I just have to think twice.
Do you want to see what I'm doing?
Nice setup.
It's working. Hold on. Do you cut these? Like, do you personally edit like after the fact, or do you just upload it as it is? Hold on, I'm trying to.
Sometimes I do, but I don't know. If it's up to you, I can cut it out. I can leave it for better visuals, so people know how professional.
But we want to show the real side of everything, right?
Right? Yeah, that's I think an important thing of you're a fellow YouTuber, not a real job.
Is it though? Is it not? Like I know a lot of people that aren't. I know a lot of people that aren't YouTubers, which is like a majority population of the world, don't see it as like a real career or a real job, which is funny because now you've been doing it for quite some time now, and I'm sure it's helped you financially and it's helped me in the same aspect. So I would consider it a career and a job.
No, definitely. You learn a lot. You acquire so many skills, like especially if you don't have a sponsor or a producer, you have to like come up with your own content and then edit it and then promote as well. Have you had a producer or like a team?
an editor or anything. Never,
Editor.
never. Because I want to say I was able to say I grew up around Will. I was introduced to vlogging from Will Dasovich, and his not his motto, but he said that getting an editor in not in the beginning, but getting an editor and getting someone else to edit your stuff is kind of like getting someone else to draw and create your art. Or I don't know how to explain it properly. I'm really bad at explaining stuff, but it's like it takes away from your touch of what you're trying to show to the world. So no, I never have had an editor. I mean, I've had people help show me how to edit, but I've never let anyone edit any of my videos ever.
That's actually an interesting take because I've noticed I've had editors. I still do. And I've noticed that I became more lazy because there's actually a lot of directing, and then they just don't get what you're trying to do. And then it's hard. And then
Yeah.
for me, it was just overwhelming. And I was finally doing it to just, sort of delegate. So that took a lot of pressure. And
So you have had editors, or you do you
yeah,
currently still?
I still do, but since I haven't been uploading anything, the last podcast and the last a few teasers, I've edited myself. But then, actually, I would say it was a good experience as well because my editors have had more experience and they were more.
They knew what you wanted in a way.
No, isn't like technical side of the editing program, and they just knew some tricks that I didn't because I learned with Sony Vegas, and that was like basically just cutting, stitching together
Yeah,
background music, and
that's
never
funny because
really.
you're the only other person I've ever heard say Sony Vegas aside from Daniel Marsh.
I was so surprised that he used that too. I was like, "What? Your editing is insane."
Yeah,
And you
it
use
is
that?
insane. That's hilarious. Well, I'm sure when you met, because we all kind of met. I don't know, like a lot of people don't know. We all kind of met. I met you at the same time almost. I met Dan.
Oh, really? I thought you were already like talking or being friends.
Well, when did you meet him? What year did you meet him in 2017, right?
2018.
Oh, 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I met him around the same time.
I think you were already, I think, hanging out with like Luke. You shot a video at that
Yeah, so
time.
that's super fresh to me of meeting Dan. That's why when I met you, I'm trying to think back to when I met you. It was like I barely knew Dan at the time. That's crazy.
Do you remember like what was your first impression of me?
Just like a free spirit. Just like a kind of like, well, I don't know what your first impression was of me, but like being a foreigner in the Philippines, hanging out with other foreigners, you're kind of just like I don't know. I felt like everyone's kind of doing the same thing, just like going with the
Yeah.
flow and just
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
know what you mean. It's like a relatable experience being a foreigner and also a YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, were you YouTubing before you went to the Philippines or no?
Not really. I had one video from Vienna. It was a vlog in 2015, and then I never
Whoa.
actually like.
Hey, that's still a vlog. You had a vlog up in 2015. You're an OG vlogger then. I didn't even know what vlogging was. I didn't even know I knew what YouTube was, but like I only knew what vlogging was when I met Will when we were filming the movie in Siargao in late 2017. So you were way ahead of me.
Oh, so
That's crazy.
you met Will shooting a movie, and then he introduced you to vlogging.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I just released like I don't know, I consider it a short film on my YouTube channel. It's 4 years of my life from start to finish in the Philippines, explaining everything and So what happened was in the beginning, my sister and I went to the Philippines on a backpacking trip, fell in love with it. I ended up going back there within like 2 weeks from being back in Canada after our trip because I met some people that were in the same industry as me, modeling. And they're like, you should come back to the Philippines, try it there. And I was like, it's the Philippines. It's the best place on the planet. I'm going to go back there now. And it was pretty tough. And I just grinded it out and kept saying like, something good's going to happen. Something good's going to happen. I can feel it. And then I got a role as a foreigner. My role in the movie was a backpack foreigner in the Philippines. So it was like, I was like, okay, this is perfect. And then my roommate for that movie, and the movie's called Shargao the movie, was Will. And when I met Will, he was like we all do, just talking to our cameras, just being very, charismatic and whatnot. And yeah, so that's when I first was introduced to even knowing what vlogging was. Like I never paid attention to it. I never followed anyone on the internet. Like, yeah, that's
cool.
it.
I think that's a very important thing to meet someone on your path that's like inspires you so much. You want to learn so much from
oh yeah, completely. Because if they're a somewhat successful YouTuber in terms of they've gotten to that stage where it supports them and they're able to have freedom and be nomadic and travel, that was so intriguing to me. And that was just like, I want that. Like, how do I get that? I want to be free. I want what he has, it was very appealing to me in the beginning. And that's why I kind of was just like, I'm going to do whatever I can to just make that my life. And here we are, Angie. It was freedom. Freedom was always a goal, always has been. And that to me equals happiness, and happiness is a beautiful thing. So, yeah.
Same. I think everything I've been doing in my life and trying to, get somewhere was actually freedom, whether it was like money, making money, or like being able to travel or like have awesome experiences. Freedom is what actually drove me.
Yeah. Well, what were you doing prior to living the nomadic lifestyle? Like, because you're from Russia, right? You were born and raised in Russia. And yeah. So how did you born and raised? I don't know any Russian words to throw out there, but that's crazy. So yeah, tell me about how I'm flipping it around here. I want to know how you got into living from your computer.
Living from your computer.
Yeah, I guess it's a terrible way to put it, but
nice. Well, first of all, as a Russian, can I just say that I am also your potato friend?
You are my potato friend. Where is that from? Why is that ringing a bell in my head? Like I know what that is, but I know what it is. My potato friend. Is it? What is it from?
It's from your vlog.
Yeah, but what? Okay, so it's from my vlog,
mm-hmm.
And I called you my potato friend.
Not me. Someone else.
Oh, Dan. Okay. Yeah, I used to call Dan Mr. Potato or Potato Head. I don't know why, but okay, fellow potato friend.
He's from Irish. He's from Ireland, and they love potatoes.
That's right. Okay.
Russians eat a lot of potatoes too. So like potato, if there's any garnish, I would go for potatoes. Like
really,
or like pasta or rice, I'd go for potatoes.
What about vodka? Is that a true stereotype?
It is. Well,
it is.
It's true, but it's more like older generation, maybe like grandparents or parents. But I wouldn't say generation in Russia, like my age people, they don't. I don't know. It depends where you're from. Maybe like in some province, it is.
Yeah, I feel like stereotypes through different countries are kind of outdated as we move forward into like the era that we're living in now, with everything being either really okay or really not. Like freedom of sexuality and everyone opening up and stuff like that. It's like it's changed. Times have changed, Angie.
They have, certainly. So like what's a to-go drink in Canada?
A go-to drink?
To-go drink.
Anything. We just like to fucking send it. Like we like I don't know how to explain it. Like there's never, for me personally, like there's never been a go-to drink. It was always kind of like whatever was cheapest. So ever if it was beer, and then I think more so into when like seltzers and the I don't know what to do if you have them in Russia. They're like the nudes or neutrals,
Like a lemonade, but
super low calorie drinks that are like vodka. I don't know, whatever is cheapest, but we just try to get as drunk as we can if it's like a group of guys and we're like, well, yeah, let's go. Like that was me before. I've changed. I've grown a bit into myself now. Yeah.
like my first exposure to alcohol was like when I was 13, and then I think by the time I was like 20, I was like, I'm done with drinking.
That's pretty good. The 20s, like, well, how old are you now?
30.
You're 30?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I thought you were my age. You look younger than I do. I think I'm 50. That's a joke in the Philippines. Everyone says like he's like an old man. Like you're 30. Wow, you look great for 30, Angie.
Thank you.
Jesus.
I thought we were actually, I think when we met, I thought we were the same age.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
Yeah. So that's so funny. It's like we would go for the cheapest stuff, like cheapest beer, cheapest. It's like screwdriver, but like carbonated.
Yeah.
Lemonade.
Whatever was cheapest. I feel like that's kind of everywhere in the world. Whatever you can afford at the time. Like when you're in your stages of like not prepubescent drinking, but like I had my first drink when I was, oh God, I think I was 12. 12 or 13. And then as of this year, I'm 26 now. It's just like I'm afraid of getting hungover, and I get severe. It's almost like I feel like I'm depressed when I'm hungover. I get the shakes. I don't know what I feel like I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like it genuinely scares me to be hungover, and it stops me now from drinking so much. But when I met you in the Philippines, like when I moved in with Dan, and I lived with Dan because I lived with Dan for like 6 months, 4 to 6 months. I can't remember what it was, but man, I never drank so much in my life. Like those guys, I was like, these guys like to go party, and alcohol, as you know, in the Philippines is so cheap. So it's like, wow, I can drink all this alcohol and spend like little to nothing. So I think that's what it was when I got to the Philippines. Even when I went to backpacking there, it was bad. Like I drank almost every other day, but I never had that experience before. I mean, I traveled to Thailand and Indonesia. I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, so I wasn't like super socially drinking and partying and meeting people. So it was different. The Philippines, you know, Filipinos love to drink. I know Filipinos watching this are just like, yeah. And it's not a bad thing, because I had some amazing times, but I'm glad that my body has matured into a state of like I'm staying at a yoga retreat now. This is like way different than it ever has been. So
yeah. How is it?
It's amazing. Yeah, I'm in a little town called Sayulita. It's on the west coast of Mexico, just north of Puerto Vallarta, just to give people a better idea of where exactly it is. It's pretty small. It's hard to explain the size. I don't need to explain the size, but it's super chill. It's a little surf kind of paradise. Lots of white people here. Lots of resorts, but it's been sunny every day, like not a cloud in the sky. And I've been here for 2 weeks already. And it's been perfect. And I chose to stay at a yoga retreat because everyone's so, you know what it's like, right? People are just like calm and they're trying to heal themselves. And I was like, I mean, me too. I'm healing every day. Like I got shit I'm working on, and I was just attracted to the thought of being in a place that doesn't have many temptations and is very quiet. And it's quiet here. Although since we started this, there's lots of lots of noises happening in the background, but yeah, it's cool.
It's nice being surrounded by like-minded people. I loved my experience in Bali. Yeah, I was there the whole pandemic.
Yeah, you were there for a while, right?
I got stuck.
Nice. Yeah, you got stuck, which was not a bad thing in Bali, was it?
No, I mean, okay. So it sucked that I wasn't in the Philippines, but Bali, I would say, was the best place to be at during the pandemic because the restrictions were mild, I would say, and then people could still like somewhat go around and then experience. And then there's a lot of nature. You could go to some waterfalls. So that was, yeah, it would have sucked.
You were pretty free. Like you were free to do what you kind of wanted rather than
I mean, a lot of places shut down too, and then also like some temples and stuff like that. So not as touristy. A lot of people left, so there were
yeah.
mostly Russians left. There's like some
That's
locals.
so funny because when I was on the internet, well, as I am every day, I have some friends in Indonesia and they were posting about Russians being in Bali. And you were there for how long?
I was there for 9 months, and then I went back to Russia for 6 months, and then I went back for like another 5 or 6 months.
That's crazy. It's crazy how fast that period since start of the pandemic.
Right?
Like those, I'm sure those 9 months that you spent in Indonesia went by like so fast.
I mean, now that I look back, yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay.
back then, it was like, it was tough because, like, as much as it was enjoyable in Bali, like the surrounding, right? I was like going through some like major shit. When I went to Bali on vacation from the Philippines, um, so like I lived in a house, I had 2 dogs, 1 cat, a boyfriend, and then we broke up like the last day he was there in Bali, and then he went back to the Philippines. I decided to stay. Like, of course, I intended to come back and then like move out my stuff and find a new place. But then I didn't expect to like the country to shut down for almost 2 years now. And
Completely, right? Like you couldn't go in and out.
no, I tried going because I had a student visa at a time because I was in school. And I just couldn't. They wouldn't let even Filipinos in for some time. And then when they finally did, my visa expired and I still can't go back. I mean, have you heard that they're opening from December 1st to December 15th?
The Philippines?
Yeah, for tourism.
This is a dilemma, right? So I booked my flight and everything to come to Mexico prior to even knowing that the country was going to open up. And like I said, like I've waited a year and let's just say almost 2 years. That's what I keep saying to myself. I've waited almost 2 years for an announcement, and I was like, I can't wait any longer. Like I don't want to wait. I want to be proactive. I need to get out of Canada because for me, I have this weird thing where I just like I feel like I'm stuck at home. I don't know why, but when every time I leave, it's like I flourish into this like person that's just like just stoked on life.
Finally,
and like
be myself.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird how that is. I mean, I tried to find the beauty in it being home in Canada for the extended period of time that I did. Like I never spent that much time in Canada over the past 5 years. Like it was a year, August, September, October, November. Yeah, a year and 3 months. Like that was tough for me. Like I think the first 6 months I was so down, I was so depressed. I was like, I can't. It was getting cold, like rainy, and where I live in Canada, it doesn't snow that much. Like I'm from the West Coast. It's like I live on a little island between Vancouver Island and Vancouver on the mainland, and we don't get a lot of snow. So people think Canada, it's like, oh, winter wonderland. It's like it's just cold, constant torrential downpours, and it doesn't stop. And I want to go outside and be like, healthy and stuff. But to me, I don't know.
definitely. I'm like, as a Russian, I'm so allergic to cold. I hate it so much.
Well, how long did you like? You've spent a lot of your life in Southeast Asia now, right? If you think about it, or
Yeah, I moved what in 2017, so like 2021, so
Mhm.
like 4 years
Yeah,
on
yeah,
and off. Yeah, and then I would say probably not a lot of people enjoy the hotness and just humidity. I'm fine with it. I mean, I would still prefer to super cold, snow, rain. I lived in St. Petersburg, Russia for 3 years. Oh my God, it was miserable. It's such a beautiful city, but the
yeah.
weather,
Yeah,
oh my
that's it.
God,
It's
it's like
like
London.
I feel you. Yeah, I feel you. It's the same where I'm from too. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, but yeah, once you get a taste of this, it's like, huh. Yeah, you appreciate it too much to not be there as much as you can.
I know what you mean, as in, like, I've waited for so long and it's kind of time to
Right.
not
So yeah, getting
just,
back to that, going back. So I spent quite a bit of money because I brought butter with me too, and I had to get all of her paperwork and shots, and I spent like $1,000 just Canadian on her to get her with me here, and then myself another whatever it was. So not only time and money to be here. So now I'm like, oh, as soon as I got here, the announcement was like, hey, the Philippines is opening back up, and now I'm here. I'm like, I gotta stay here for a bit. I'm one to just do what feels right and go with the flow. And right now I've spent way too much time and effort to get here. So I'm gonna stay here for an indefinite amount of time, not forever, definitely not forever, because I want to go back to the Philippines. I still have a lot of my stuff there. Like me and Kyle Jennerman becoming Filipino, we still share a house there in Cagayan de Oro, and yeah, I'm excited to go back, and I want to go back. It's just yeah, it's just a matter of time.
it's like mm, putting your life on hold and just waiting for something to happen. And then when you finally are like, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna do something else. I have to, and then just gotta move on. And then
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I'm also not going because you have to be vaccinated. I'm not vaccinated. It's gonna take like a month and a half to get 2 shots, and then you have to enter from the green list country. And before, I mean, you enter, you have to spend 14 days there. I
That's
don't
the
have.
thing. It's that process behind it is like you don't want to lose your sanity. That will to me it would have a huge impact on my mental health. Like if I had to go through quarantining and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, it's like I couldn't, and I'm sure you can't either, which is why you're not going to be going back soon.
No, it's just like there's not enough time, and plus it's like 2 week period of time you can enter, and then you don't know what's gonna happen.
Exactly right. It's still very uncertain. Like I appreciate that it's opening and everyone's like but that's kind of how it was when COVID like it slowed down, especially in Canada. When it first happened, lockdowns, everything, and then it kind of opened back up, and people were like, "Oh, finally!" And then it was like, "Boom, no, back down, like
Yeah.
lockdown again." So it's very uncertain, which is kind of scary, and which is why I chose Mexico because Mexico's been like very lenient with COVID. Like I arrived here and it's as if COVID doesn't exist. No masks. I didn't have to quarantine. I just arrived. There's no PCR rapid tests I had to do or anything like that. It's pretty amazing. So that's an appealing thing about being in Mexico too. Is it's I don't think it will ever close per se. But the Philippines, I'm like, I know the history of COVID there, and I'm like, I'm okay to wait a bit longer, and especially since I'm here, I'm fine with it.
They just canceled face shields, so
Thank God. I had to fly back from when I left the Philippines. I remember I had to wear the face shield and the mask, and I was like, holy. And they had to wear those face shields for like up until what, last week or 2 weeks
yeah,
ago or something.
yeah, about maybe up to a month ago. I've never actually worn one, so I'm like, I can't imagine what it's like.
You haven't experienced it. You haven't lived life yet, Angie.
Is this what it's about?
Yeah,
and
it's
then
brutal,
face
but
shields.
I am happy to see it open back up because like they heavily, almost if not 80 to 90% rely on their economy for tourism, right?
No, it's great news. I'm so happy because it means that slowly they're gonna, like let more tourists in and then maybe ease some restrictions, which I'm excited about. And yeah.
Yeah.
So, wait, you went back home to Canada, or I don't know what you consider home anymore.
Yeah, yeah, Canada.
Pandemic, mid pandemic, you decided to fly back to Canada from the Philippines. So what
Yeah.
made you do so?
Well, so Kyle and I'm based in, I want to say I am still because we still have a place there, but I was based in the city of Cagayan de Oro, which is in Mindanao. And Mindanao is not heavily controlled by the what's the like the military police. I can't even remember the name
Martial
for it.
law?
Martial, yeah, like the martial law. When stuff's implemented there, it's like very very strict. It's not like
Mm.
I think it's different in Luzon. They don't have that in Manila. But so where Kyle and I were living in Cagayan de Oro when COVID first happened. So it was like what, January or March when everything shut down in the Philippines completely. It's March, April, May, June, July. I was there for about 5 or 6 months during like the heat of COVID when it was first, like everything was locked down, and it was intense. Like if you stepped outside of your house past curfew, like they had curfews there, which they did a lot of places in other parts of the world and in the Philippines. But if we were to so much as like, because I had to take butter out to go pee before I go to bed, I guess, and I go to bed super late. But when the law was implemented, it was curfew. I think was 9 p.m. And I would try to go outside, and there'd be martial law police officers on each block, and we were in the middle. And I would look, and I'd run out with butter, and they just start blowing their whistles and like going like this, like, and I had to run back in the house, or they could arrest you. They would just, and it happened to a lot of local people that weren't abiding by the laws. They would just take them and they would make them go to the those covered basketball courts,
Mhm.
as there's basketball courts everywhere in the Philippines, and that's where they would have their state, like a mini jail or a temporary holding for not by the laws. And it's like if you didn't go outside of your house without a face mask on, they could take you to jail, I guess, because it was happening in a lot of places. So it was very intense and kind of scary. And I knew going back to Canada, especially where I live on an island that has 500 full-time residents, and it's a big island. It's about the same size as, let's say, if Filipinos are watching this, like Camiguin. It's the same, not the same shape, but like the same size, landmass wise. So imagine 500 people on that size of island. Like you're very free. There's only two police officers on the island, and COVID wasn't. There was no strict restrictions on where I live. So that's kind of why I went back, because it seemed to just be getting worse in the Philippines, and as it did, not, I want to say thankfully for leaving, but like it was shitty because things just got worse in the Philippines. There was more lockdowns, heavier restrictions. So yeah, that's why I left, and I'm happy I did, because it gave me a lot of freedom that a lot of local Filipinos just didn't and still don't really have.
That's sad, but I was actually gonna point out that went looking for freedom.
Yeah. Well, when did you leave the Philippines? Like, did you leave it
Ah,
pre-pandemic?
yeah. I went
Yeah, because
in February, and then I stayed there for 2 weeks, and then that's where there were like news going on about the
yeah,
pandemic and everything.
yeah.
And I decided, my friends were still there, and I decided to stay for some time, like more. So hoping that it's just like no one could expect it to last.
No, no, definitely not.
And then I was just okay. So like I had a chance to come back, but so the tickets from Manila to Bali were about 4,000 pesos, which is
That's
$80.
pretty. That's pretty cheap.
And then coming back, it was like 20,000 pesos. And I was like, fuck that. $400 to come back. And now it's like, I should have, I don't know.
Yeah. I remember when it was like flight prices just started dropping and people were like, ah, I'm gonna travel now, I guess. So you took advantage of that. So you went to Bali for 4,000 pesos.
No, no, no. That was pre-pandemic. I didn't even know. Like
Okay. Sorry.
coming back was like 20,000. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not going. They're gonna, open up
That's a
later,
lot.
and they didn't.
Especially, yeah, no, they didn't. And that's a lot for from Bali to Philippines because it's not like what is the flight from Denpasar to Manila?
It's like 4 hours, I would say.
Yeah, see, that's pretty expensive, especially for Southeast Asia.
No, for like $80 to 400. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a big difference. It's a big jump.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
So after you spent 9 months in Bali, and then you went back home.
because my
How
passport
was
expired.
how was it in Russia
Otherwise, I would have stayed.
for COVID
You know
restrictions
what?
wise? I guess.
I got used to Bali being so law abiding, I guess, and everyone was sanitizing their hands and everyone wore masks. Like aside from like cafes when you're actually eating. And then I go to Russia, and as soon as people go down the subway, like the escalator down, they just pull the mask off. I'm like, I was so stressed out because
You're like, what the heck?
right people, and then it was like in the middle of pandemic. It was December or November 2020. It was still like ongoing, and people were just like pulling masks down. And I'm like, oh, so dumb.
Yeah. Well, being where you were in Bali, like it was the same in the Philippines. I wouldn't say I went crazy, but like I got so used to abiding, like you said, like, hand sanitizer, not ever taking my mask off, all of that stuff. And then it was the same for me going back to Canada. I was like, you're not wearing your mask, like, and I was just a little bit too paranoid about everything, which isn't bad, I guess, but yeah, I can relate to that aspect of.
I was too. So like I would always wear a mask, and then I took this course in St. Petersburg, and there was like the first lecture. There were 7 of us, so like we were pretty like distanced from each other. So like we're sitting on chairs. Sorry, and the first lecture, like the first class, I got sick. I had COVID.
Oh, you actually got COVID.
Yeah.
Damn. You're
I
like this third person I know that's got it.
Yeah, I spent my New Year's like in bed watching TV shows, having a panic attack for the first time because like I woke up just breathing, like just I've never experienced it, and I just woke up and I was like, it's like it's
Really?
hard to
So
breathe, and
it was
the
really
heart,
bad.
yeah, the heart was. My symptoms were just like weakness. I didn't have a fever. I lost my sense of smell, and I was gonna say appetite and taste. And yeah, that was like I was just just staying in bed trying to do yoga from time to time because like yeah, they say that you should still move a little and not spend so much time on your back. And yeah, I just woke up in the morning. It was hard to breathe, and then like I could hear my heart just like going crazy. I think what someone explained it to me, it's just like the lack of oxygen in your
Yeah.
lungs, and then it caused you. Plus the mindset.
Of course.
I
Yeah, you're
It
like,
got to me.
"Oh, that's scary." I understand why if someone has a low immune system, like the elderly or someone who's not paying attention to their health, like you can die from it because it really hits you hard. Like I have another friend that got it, and he was like, dude, I understand why people die from it. Like if you're not healthy and you're not in shape, or if you're old, or if you smoke or anything like that, like it can be pretty serious. But like you're pretty healthy and you recovered from it fully, I'd assume.
Yeah, yeah. That took
That's
me,
scary.
yeah, like maybe a week or maybe 10 days to like fully recover. But then I had my taste came back in the next maybe 2 weeks after I recovered, and then I still had like problems breathing. Like I couldn't inhale fully, like full
Yeah.
lungs. And then I was like, I remember I was on the train and it was just like so annoying because after a while you forget how it was before. You're like, was I always like this? Couldn't I? Like, did I ever, like, was I ever able to breathe fully?
Really?
Like,
So you actually had side effects from it?
no, it was
Like for a while?
maybe a month for my, breathing to come back to normal. Because, yeah, I remember I was like riding on the train trying to sleep and I couldn't. And I was just like, it's just shallow breathing. And you
Yeah.
can't fully, like, it's, I don't know, it's how to explain. It's like you don't have the capacity of your lungs to just take, in yoga, like,
Oh yeah.
take a
You can't
deep breath.
do those deep breaths.
No, I couldn't. And a long
Dang.
exhale.
Long exhale. I've been doing lots of that, which has helped me a lot.
Yoga.
It's everything. Like I'm sorry. It's like delayed. If I cut you off, I'm not trying to be rude.
So
There's everything. They have everything. They have like, I don't even know what it's called. There's like half.
hatha.
Is that what it is? Yeah, it's like deeper, long movements and breathing, and then there's other ones that are more intense and focus on like core and control and engaging muscles, and then there's other ones that are more meditative, if that's a word. You just meditate, you breathe, and you just try to like leave your body, I guess, and try to get into like a state of like full meditation, which I have a hard time doing because I have ADHD, so I'm just always like, come on. yeah. It's like it's interesting. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and it's opened my eyes up a lot of like how I benefit from it a lot, yoga and meditating, and just like getting spiritual, I guess, and just having trying to understand that, like, how do I put it? It's like a religion in a way. Like there's I don't know how to explain it. It's really, really interesting. The whole lifestyle around it it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually like yoga and I don't know, Buddhism. I'm not very familiar with it.
Yeah.
But I like some ideas from it, and then
Yeah, me too.
I like Hindu. Just
Yeah.
they have like such
Yeah.
good
So
gods.
you're like me. Like I wouldn't say I'm religious. I mean, I grew up in a Christian home. I went to church when I was younger. Like my grandparents are still very Christian. My mom isn't, like, but I dibble dabble in a few religions. Like I like to have a better understanding of how other people view life and beliefs and everything like that. And it's interesting because then you just get a better understanding of how people think, I guess, in a way. And a lot of it, it's pretty, it's cool. Like Buddhism, like you said, and you don't know a whole lot about it religiously, but there's just that lifestyle that comes with it. And it's very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is like Bali's surrounded around that, right? Like Bali's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I got a
Oh shit!
tattoo.
Nice.
She has my face.
No way. I like it. I would get tattoos, but my pain tolerance is so bad. I have two of my. I got this. It looks like a blob, but it's a wave, and actually underneath it is, I got it in the Philippines. I got it in Boracay. Me and this girl got matching tattoos one night. Don't ask. Well, you can ask if you want, but
I will.
And it was in Alibata, which is like the Philippines, to what I know, in my understanding, the first written language, I think, or the first. I think it's I don't know. Anyways, but it didn't say what I wanted it to say. The guy that did it was one of those, like, the night was wild, and I don't even remember where I got it, but I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I have this little smudge. I was like, what is that? And it I remember when I was getting it, I wanted it to be something positive, like life or good life, or like something or to do with love or some shit. I can't remember, but all it said was good. Like it just meant good, and I was like, "Fuck, Bret, what
Good.
were you doing?" So I got it covered up, and now the wave doesn't really look like a wave either. So, and that was so painful. I remember that being super painful. So yeah, no more tattoos for me. You're a brave soul.
No, it's just yeah. I make sure it's a good artist and it's safe and yeah. I have a
Yeah,
cool.
you have a few tattoos, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, almost like half sleeves.
Are you gonna get fully tatted? Is that like your goal?
Um, I think I'm just gonna go with the arms. I'm just gonna get full sleeves and that's it. I don't want to get anywhere else.
I like
So
tattoos on other people. Like, especially like for women, I'm like that's pretty hot. But for me getting them on my body now, I'm like I'm so indecisive that I feel like if I got a big one, I would just my mind would change. I'd be like, oh, I don't. Yeah.
I get that. Like, I took it took maybe a couple of years, maybe 2 years to get my Donnie Darko piece. So I was like, do I want it? Do I not want it? And then just like you get it, and it's just like a part of you, and it's kind of there. And at some point, I forgot I have them, and then sometimes I catch people staring, and I'm like, oh wait, oh I have tattoos.
You kind of forget it's a part of you because it is physically a part of you. It's like
Yeah.
I would forget. It's like yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe this one, like, I kind of regret because, like, it's a weird placement and it's just a cactus that looks like, I don't know, a dick.
It's funny because obviously we look at it from different angles. It looks like something different, but
It's a dick.
yeah, it's a dick. Yeah, you're like it's a dick.
Hairy dick. I did it for the vlog. I'm not gonna lie.
Really,
Now,
that's
I gotta
funny.
say, I saw this kind of a show on YouTube. So it's called Last Minute Trips. So they would throw a dart in on a map and they would go to the place. And then I think they did that with a tattoo. I was like, that's such a cool idea. So I picked a few designs that I liked, and then I shot a video with like some guys throwing darts, and then it landed on a cactus. And I don't know.
For the
Maybe.
vlog, were you in the Philippines?
Yeah, it was in Manila.
Would I know who it was with? Because I know I don't know how many people you dated in the Philippines, but I know one of your exes.
Yeah.
Was it with him? Was it with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if you know the production guys. They're called Carabros. They're from Ireland.
Oh! He's got a weird name. He's one of them a short guy, right?
Sharon.
What's his name?
I call him Sharon. Kieran.
What?
Kieran. Oh my God.
Kieran, yeah,
Kieran.
because Dan, the only other Irish guy in the Philippines, not
Yeah.
actually, but they became friends, right? And
Yeah,
they started hanging out. I know the other. Apparently, they're good guys, and from what I see
yeah.
through the internet, which is funny because through the internet, I feel like you have somewhat of you can connect with people because you feel like you know them. So I feel like he seems like a really nice guy. They all do.
No, they're cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're cool. I like working with them and just hanging out. Yeah. So
The Irish lads in Manila.
I miss it. Even the traffic. I
Can't say that you miss the traffic.
I don't.
It's
drive,
it's an experience, especially like Edza. Like I lived. Well, first off, where did you live when you were in Manila? When you lived there, you lived in Mandaluyong. Okay, so I lived in Mandaluyong also, and then I lived in Quezon City, and then
Wait. I'm trying to remember the joke. Salabas or Salaob?
I don't know. There's too many.
You don't even
There's too many
joke?
Filipino jokes. I can't keep up with them.
Oh, so like there's a famous mental institution in Mandaluyong. So the joke is like, do you live inside or inside?
Maybe I was close by for some weird coincidence. I don't know, but yeah, Mandaluyong, and then Quezon, and then I lived with Dan in. Did you ever go to his place in Makati? In Yage?
Yeah.
In the ghetto, as he would say.
Yeah.
Yage. You know what? I don't even like to say ghetto, but like I loved it. I loved living in Makati in that area. It was just it's so not raw, but it's just like
Authentic.
it's gritty and authentic. Yeah, I don't know. And I never felt in danger. Like, did you ever feel like you were not once, right? And I mean, what you put out is what you receive, kind of thing. Like, if you're a good person, for the most part, I feel like nothing bad's gonna happen. Like, seldom do you hear or have I ever heard of bad things happening to foreigners in the Philippines. And I know the Philippines has a pretty bad stereotype in a lot of other countries, but like I never once ever had anything bad happen to me. My 4 years of being there, not once. I've lost my phones. I lost my laptop once when I was backpacking with my sister. I had that returned to me. I left it in a taxi. I got that returned to me. I lost my wallet in Siargao. Had that returned. I had my bank card, IDs. I've lost my phone. Had that like I love leaving stuff. I don't know why. I think it just happens for a reason, and it's just tons of stuff, but nothing. Yeah, nothing ever bad happened ever at all.
It depends where you go to. So, like, if you go to the dark, spooky alley, you might experience something. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I would go through that Mandaluyong bridge like all the time, right? Makati, Mandaluyong. I was never, and then once I went there like 5, 6 a.m. after some pop crawl and some poblacion.
Poblacion, or how does Dan say it?
uh,
Poblacion.
poblacion. 33.
Uh,
Or what was that? 33. How does he say it? 33.
Dan,
Yeah,
33.
33.
That
So
was a
nice
great
of
place to
us
go.
making fun of his accent. We love you.
We love you. We love
So
you.
I was
So
walking that bridge at like 5 a.m. And then my boyfriend at the time, later when he found out, he was like, "Are you crazy? That's like the most dangerous like bridge in the world. Like people get stabbed there." Like I was fine. It's like
well, I
I
mean,
don't
there's like you go anywhere in the world. You're not supposed to go out at night by yourself. Like there's just rule of thumbs, right?
know.
And like I feel more in danger in Vancouver, walking downtown Vancouver, than I did anywhere walking in the Philippines or in Manila. Like I spent two years in Manila and went a lot of places by myself at night in the early mornings. Like I've never felt in danger there compared to being other parts of like North America. To me, North America is more dangerous in that aspect of like getting robbed or whatever. I don't know. That's just how I feel.
You said that you never had any like bad experiences, just like outside. But any like, what was the worst experience in the Philippines?
Just dealing with shitty people with bad intentions. Like, like, I mean, as you grow, you learn, a good person from a bad person, I guess. But like at the time, it was when I lived with Dan, and we were dealing with some really, really shady, not shady, but just like shitty people. Yeah, I don't want to get too into it, but just dealing with bad people, but never anything like I never got injured. I mean, I might have a bad back; it goes out sometimes, but it's not like I never broke anything. I never got hit by a car. I never, yeah, nothing. I would just say people. How about you? How about you?
I would say same, like just people experiences. Okay, so I have a couple of stories.
I'm all
Fun and
ears.
bold.
Yeah.
Um, so when I was in Boracay for the first time, I spent there like almost 2 months, and then I decided to like pack my stuff and come back to the Philippines and move there. And like I met some good people, how I thought that I thought that time. And I lived in this. So you've been to Boracay, right?
Yeah.
So it's on Bulapog side. So it's not. It's where kite surfers are. So
Okay.
it's parallel to the White Beach. So I lived there in a little like bamboo hut that I really enjoyed, and mm, I think I was like, when I went back to Russia, I was talking to the guy who lived there. Like I lived with their family, and he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna say names. So like uncle, no name, said that he can build the same bamboo hut for you on their, territory. I was like, oh really, that's so great. Like, how much is it gonna be? And he's like, 200,000 pesos, so that's $4,000 US dollars.
Right.
um and then I was like, okay. So they showed me the house plan, the
Like the
design.
blueprint.
Yeah, the blueprint. And then I slowly sent some money, and then I already was in Manila, and then they started saying that they started building it, and they were like, oh, it turns out to be more expensive than we thought, and it's not bamboo now, it's like concrete, and we ran out of money, and like it's gonna be 1 million dollars. Like,
Oh,
what?
what? Wait, so you paid them? You paid them in advance, like all of it, or just like a
Yeah,
bit?
yeah, because they were like building it slowly, right? So like I would send 50,000, they would build it, and then they would show me pictures and like some receipts and stuff, but I didn't sign any contracts with them.
Oh, man.
So, and then that's just it. And I said, I don't have any money, and plus like that's it. I was like, oh, they're not gonna pay me back. That was just
Damn.
I after a while I went there to see what it looks like, and it's just like, white walls, and they never finished it.
That sucks. Well, there's always a lesson in that, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah, I can't believe you lived in Boracay. That is like the last place I'd ever think you'd want to be like based.
That was the first place I lived in, but I only lived there for like 2 months almost, and my intention was to actually, like, when I moved to the Philippines, I was gonna live in Boracay, but then Manila sucked me in, and I just lived in Manila for.
Manila sucked. Hey, Manila sucked me into too. Like, yeah, I spent 2 years there. I never ever thought I would, just because it's you're in the Philippines and you'd expect to be living on the sand and the beach and the tropics in the sun, right? But
Right?
like me, like yeah, it wasn't a bad trap though, because everything was so beautiful when I was there. Like my life really, changed for the better. But yeah, it's crazy now looking back at it. Like, what was the first reason why you went to the Philippines was to go to the beaches and then the clear waters and palm trees and coconuts and stuff, right? And then you're in a city and you're like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on? Like, it is, and it's a very small world. As big as it seems and as big as it sounds for people out there, like there's what, 22 million people in Manila or something. It doesn't feel like that. It never felt like that for me. I don't know why. I know it's a little bit spread out, but it's
Unless
a
you're
small.
in a car in traffic.
Yeah, yes. Then there's, yeah, but it's a small world. Like if you get into certain friend groups and circles, like for us, I guess it was like on the online community with either YouTube or I'm sure you made friends with some local actors or actresses.
Some, I wouldn't say. Like, I was exposed much to the
Yeah,
celebrity scene.
yeah. That's a small world. Like I was like, oh, finally I can like date someone and no one's gonna know. Like, it's gonna be great. And then it's like, oh, everybody knows everything about everyone, and I'm like, this is Manila. Like, it's supposed to be one of the biggest, highly populated cities in the world. I was like, it's crazy, but that's what also kept me there for so long, because I was like, I feel like I'm at home in a weird way. Like I'm very far away from home, and it's very different. But I felt loved, and the community was just sweet, and yeah, Manila's a weird place. It's yeah.
Wait, so have you ever, like, did you date someone?
I did.
We want to know.
Yeah. I don't want to say, just because
I mean, like,
But
Oh, go ahead.
I dated a couple people. Um,
Hmm.
but I never, even up until now, like I don't know unless it's like the woman I'm gonna marry, like, and I know that, like, I don't want to open up my relationships on the internet, especially with what we do, like, because people get so attached to it, and there's so many creators that I see that open their lives up about their relationships, and to most of my understanding, they try to use it to their advantage for leverage to get views and all this stuff, and it's part of the business, and but I just, yeah, I never opened up about it, and I don't think I ever will unless it's like the one. I don't know, but yeah, I dated a couple. I dated a couple of Filipinas.
Were they famous?
Yeah, one of them is.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, she's a artista,
Artist.
and the other one was a YouTuber.
Oh,
I
I
think
think I
people know.
know.
Yeah, I think people know, but I just like it wasn't to me. It was never. Ooh, I gotta be careful with what I say. Yeah, it was more. It was more of a lust and not love relationship, and that I didn't want to really like get open up that to the internet, and then because I didn't really see it going anywhere, and I didn't want to like publicize it, and then have all the Filipinos be like, I ship, chismis, and they go crazy for relationships. It's
I
a part of like
know.
the online culture, or like with actors and actresses and social media influencers. They love that stuff. Like it was almost like I felt like I was being pressured into it when I was there. Like, and even to this day, like Filipinos love and romance. It's hilarious, and it's so funny. They want that. They want to see you with someone else, or but yeah, I try to keep that to myself.
Actually, like I wasn't so careful about it, or maybe like I didn't treat YouTube as a career much, and I was just like, oh, I got a boyfriend, so here's my boyfriend, and we're just like we would travel together a lot, and then we would go to places, and he would always be in my vlogs, and people hated that, and like I remember someone told me like, oh, you shouldn't, like your audience is gonna be upset or like mad, and I said like I don't care, it's a part of my life, and I have regretted it so much, because like people always have to say something about your relationship, whether they like it or not like it, and then they're going to discuss, and then when like the relationship ends, there's going to be questions, and then if it's a rough breakup, you don't want to talk about that, right?
No, but then you're so vulnerable to everything because you're opening up your life to people that feel like they know you, or they do know you because you're sharing your life with them, but you don't know who they are, and then they can assume and they make assumptions that can affect you deeply with either negativity or positivity. It's like, shit, you got to be careful what you put out there because people know you.
It's like I have an example, like when the relationship was quite fresh, people would like there was one comment that I remembered, like someone said, oh, I saw your boyfriend making out with someone right now, with like they're together with Marsh, and they're like in Poblacion, and he's like making out with this girl. I'm like, yeah, right. So that's like,
The drama behind it is just something I hate drama. I hate confrontation. Like anything, I just like no. Like I grew up with way too much of that in my household, and I just like I want to avoid that at all costs.
right? I think it's actually like an important rule, being a celebrity, to set your own boundaries, what you're okay and not okay with sharing with people, because you might actually regret it, and you can't just take it back, right?
Completely no. It's once it's on there, it's out there. Like even like now, I'm kind of. It's not that I've never like done anything to be canceled. Like the cancel culture is very scary on the internet, but
I
it's
think it's
scary.
silly. It's
I do
like
too.
kids. It's
it
like,
is, it is, it is.
you made a mistake, you cancel. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know, and they have the obligation to tear you down and rip you apart and try to destroy you, and it's like, fuck, we're humans, we're learning. Like, if you don't make mistakes in life, you are not living. Like, and then people just,
no, I mean,
tough.
like,
This
it's
is my love hate with
funny.
what we do.
It's like, it's funny because, like, you guys are so quick to judge if you're saints. Like, you've never made a mistake. You've done worse shit.
Oh fuck yeah, way worse stuff. It's
uh,
yeah, it's scary. I think that's the one thing that comes along with what we do. It's like that's what one part I don't like about it. And I didn't get into YouTubing to be popular or to be famous. It was to be free and to be happy, because with freedom, like I said, to me that equals happiness. And I think if people are going into being an influencer or social media personnel, and if you're getting into it to be popular, I would like just don't do it, because it's just, I feel like that's a wrong intention, unless that's all you want in life, and that's great. But you just got to remember like what comes along with it. Like I personally, I hate, not like I'm not, I don't want to sound egotistical, but I don't like being popular. Like I don't like being the center of attention. I'm now I'm starting to understand I'm very introverted. Like I'm a very outgoing person, but if I get to know you and you're my friend, then I am who I am in my vlogs, because I'm usually 99% of the time either by myself or with very close people that I know, and I'm me. But like I remember like doing meetups in the Philippines and stuff. I had anxiety attacks. I was like, I hate this. I hate being the center of attention, which is why I failed so miserably with acting at the time. Like I was just, I didn't like being the center focus. Like I don't like that. And I can't complain about it, because it's what comes along with it. And it's beautiful because you get to influence so many people, hopefully in a positive way. But yeah, never the intention to become popular in the center of attention. It's just, I don't know. I'm a pretty quiet guy. Like I've been here by myself. I haven't gone out once since I've been in Mexico. Tonight's actually the first night. Like I met a girl on the beach earlier, and I'm gonna go for dinner later. That's like the first time in 2 weeks, and I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty introverted now that I'm starting to know myself a bit better. Are you introverted? I wouldn't, like when I met you. I got like extrovert vibes a bit. Like you're out there.
yeah. No, I would say that I love being with people. I love chatting and just, meeting new people. But I would say that I'm not the one who would make the first step to like introduce themselves and just like, hey, I'm Angie. So
I'm with you there, Angie.
so like I think there are people like, hey, so like this is, I don't know, this is Brad, this is Angie, like meet them, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I'll wait until I'm being introduced, or like I would not come up first.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the attention, but I think I like it on my own terms. Does it make sense? For example,
Yeah.
meet and greets, right? So like I set the time, the place. I wouldn't say like I've had many fans to come and meet me and take a photo, but I'm like open to that. So if you ever see me on the street and say like, "Hi, Angie, let's take a picture," or like autograph, I don't get that.
Well, yeah. Well, how like that's amazing. Like if they are people that follow you and they love what you do, and like I've seen celebrities that like don't take pictures with their fans or don't want to do that. Like, how dare you? Like, these people are why you are who you are. So, like,
But it
I could.
depends. If it's like 1,000 people, and then, for example, you do a show, like, I don't know, if you're a stand-up comedian, and then you have to stay for another 3 hours to take pictures with everyone who wants to take a picture with you, and then that's like such a violation of your privacy and like personal space, and then you're gonna get tired. So I think it's okay if you get overwhelmed, and you can just say like, hey guys, I'm sorry, but like I'm tired. But I think it depends on the person.
It's a very unnatural thing as being a human to be either infiltrated like that with a bunch of people or just being ever feeling like everyone knows you because you don't really know them.
Yeah,
You're
exactly. That's the
putting
thing. They know you and you don't
it's
know
so
them.
unnatural as a human. Like that's just it's weird. It's really strange. It's a very strange thing to deal with, and yeah, definitely not what I'm chasing like at all. I just yeah, not at
I
all.
can compare it to like, those Roman theaters, right? And you're
Yeah,
just in the center and everyone's like,
yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, I'm
You're like a
anxious.
toy. It's like yeah, super anxious. I remember when we did a trip with like the fighter boys like Dan and becoming Filipino and Finn and we became pretty popular as a traveling group within the Philippines, and we go places and people, I don't know if it's just Filipinos, but like asking for pictures and video greetings and all of this stuff, and like at first it was so new to me that like, and if you did come across me or meet me, like I apologize in the beginning because it was so new to me and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. I was like, fuck this. I don't know you. This is like giving me like anxiety. Like it's so something so strange to deal with. But as you, I don't know, I guess become more popular or you get more used to it, then you understand that they're just people that love you. And you got to love them because they love what you do and they support you. So yeah, it's very, it's just weird. It's a weird world. It's a
I think
weird
there is
job.
still like a fine line between like admiration and obsession because people would just, I don't know, I've heard stories, like some celebrities were eating and people would just like interrupt them like, hey, can we take a picture? I'm like,
Yes.
I'm eating. That's just
Yeah,
rude. I
there's
don't know.
definitely boundaries that a lot of people don't understand. That don't they don't look at you as a human. They kind of look through you and just be like, oh, he's a puppet, like you said. You're just a little
Yeah.
character. They expect you to be like, boo, 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 boo. Like I'm not like that. I'm not like that all day long. Like when I film, when I make vlogs, like I want people to just get excited and I want to bring energy, and then like I can't do that all day. That's not natural. So when like I don't know, if you meet me, don't expect me to be like a fucking firework. Like I'm very chill, and I'm sure like I know you're very chill also. Like I think that
Yeah.
goes for a lot of creators, but yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I am always down to meet my audience and like say hi, take a picture. It's just I think the um, boundaries issue that I think it's normal, right?
Yeah.
That everyone have has them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I would say, judging from your videos, comments on YouTube, I would say you have a very supportive audience. Like,
I totally
um,
agree. I'm very thankful for it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yes, very thankful. Very supportive audience and family I got on
yeah,
the Brady gang.
yeah. Even when you moved back to Canada, they were, mm, I guess, supportive of your content from Canada. I read some comments. I'm gonna read them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious. Yeah, because I mean, I try to read. I read every comment. I try to read it as much as I can. But like, if a month goes by and there's new comments, I don't usually go back and read them. But yeah,
Yeah, so it's from Caroline Flores. I apologize if I pronounce it wrong. Oh, bread and butter. I'm so happy for you both that even the disappointment of not being able to come back to the Philippines because of the travel restrictions, someone invited you to fly to his plane to give much happiness and enjoy life while you're still there. Then after flying makes you realize to pursue your dream to become a pilot. That's interesting. That I didn't know. We're all excited to see what's going to happen to your journey of getting a pilot license. I didn't know that you're getting a
I
pilot license.
I didn't know that either.
Oh,
Apparently,
you are?
apparently, she knows more about me than I do. I don't.
Oh,
I mean, you can fact check me and watch the vlog, but I don't think I ever said that. But oh, you know what? I did. I
you
said that
did?
I wanted to get it now more so than ever before because
Oh,
flying in a
okay.
private plane, especially where I live in Canada, um, I live on a little tiny island between Vancouver Island and the West Coast. So having a private plane and having your own license is uh, it's pretty special, and you can get around much easier than waiting in ferry lineups and driving around. So yes, I did say that. So well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were saying that um 1 second. No pressure going back to the Philippines from Lefleur. I feel like your
Lefleur.
vlogs in Canada are better, and for me, it's like a new angle. I'm from the Philippines, so I know what to expect in the Philippines, but seeing Canada is like a new side, and I like the sceneries and adventures you do there. It's like exploring something new for us, something we don't see every day. I was impressed. I was like, wow, that's such a supportive audience. They're like down to see the content that you put out, and they're excited to see new things and experience new things.
Yeah,
What do
it's.
you
Sorry, go ahead. It was delayed. It's delaying.
Oh, okay. Um so what do you think your secret is
My secret to
as a
like
YouTuber?
a secret as in terms of what, just like creating content.
Um to have such a supportive community
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and
I've had this question before. Actually, there's another Bret Maverick on the internet. I don't know if you know or if you've come across him before, but he's based in LA. He's like a fitness. Like he looks like Barbie Ken. Like the guy's just like he's gorgeous. He's shredded, and he reached out to me and he asked me this question. He's like, "How do you retain such not yeah, like a strong relationship with my audience?" And people keep coming back over the course of, it's been 4 years now since I started my channel, and the support has never seemed to dissipate and disappear. Like they've always been there, and it's something I wake up and I'm thankful every day for, because without them, I don't have anything. It's all I have. YouTube is my only job. It's my only source of income, and as it shouldn't be. I know we talked about this before. I should have other, you know, uh, ways of earning, but I love it so much, and I think just being genuine and incorporating not every part of my life in the vlog, which is what I do, but I definitely pick and choose when I film and how I film now, because I've learned over the years that when you meet someone for the first time and you put a camera in their face, you can't connect on like a real human level. So um, just I don't know, just being genuine and incorporating family and feelings, and not being afraid to show emotions. Like I know as men we're thought upon as like just tough. We don't cry. We don't show like the soft side, but like I try to show at least like everything and my emotions. Like I've cried. I cry a lot. Like I do. Like I'm a super emotional person, and it's kind of, it sounds kind of cringe. Like people are like, "Oh, like how do you like film yourself crying?" But like I am me in front of my camera, especially if I'm like alone. Like I'm just me. I'm genuine, and I'm not afraid to show my feelings. And I think when your audience sees that, it creates like this attachment, an emotional attachment. So they feel like they do know you, and they pretty much like they do, because you're showing your true colors and your true side of everything in life. And I think that's what might be, you know, bring being able to bring them back all the time, is just being authentic and genuine for the
I don't think
most
it's a
part.
bad
Yeah.
thing to you know um, show your emotions. I think a lot of us grew up believing or forced to believe that, oh, it's bad that you should. Like I personally wasn't allowed to cry as a child, which like I had to work on in my
Yeah.
adulthood.
Damn.
Yeah. So I think for me personally and YouTube, I think it was even, I mean, when you can't even admit to yourself that you want to cry, how can you show it to your audience? I mean, like I would get emotional, but I was, I guess it's um, like a belief that no one will like me if I'm negative or stuff like that, or I'm not in a good mood, which yeah, what I've learned is you don't always have to or actually can be, like high high
Yeah,
spirits.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, like showing not just the positive and being like over, what's the word for it, delusional op not delusional optimism, delusionally like positive, like not being able to show that there is bad things that happen, and that I am angry some days and I am sad some days, and it's not just bippity boppity boo happy go lucky every single day. And that's another thing that I kind of struggle with, I guess. Like if I'm having a bad day, like I don't want to touch my camera, I don't want to vlog, I don't want to show, for the most part, all the time that I'm struggling with whatever it may be. And um, but I do like to show that, you know, there's bad days. I have bad days, or I'm not happy. If I don't like something, I'll be vocal with it. I know a lot of people aren't, especially with YouTube. They just try to show, and I get it. They want to be positive. They don't want to have any negative energy or vibes when people come to their channel. But I think being able to show all of that is super important. And then, like I said, your audience just kind of grows with you and understands that you're a human too.
I personally, as a viewer, can say that overly positive content is annoying. And at the back of your head, you're kind of thinking, like, damn, they're always so happy. Why can't I be that too? And it creates like a vicious cycle where, like, I want to be happy, but I can't. But like, this person is so, lively all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think I mean, that's what that's what they choose to show, but that's not necessarily the reality.
No, definitely not. Yeah. So I think if you can show all aspects and all sides of emotions in your content, then people gravitate towards that, and they appreciate it. I think they do, anyways.
I think they appreciate your loyal companion too.
Oh, for sure. Like butter is. Oh, she changed my life. Like especially when COVID hit and I was alone a lot of the time and stuck inside. Like she helped me through a lot, and I try to add context to like what she says when she barks and stuff. Like I'll add subtitles because in my head I'm like, what is she saying? Like she's saying something, she's trying to talk, but she's just speaking in dog language. So I'll add subtitles into whatever I think she's saying, and people just, it's created this attachment with my viewers of her because she's a character, and she really is. She's like that all the time. So yeah, she's sleeping right now. She's on the couch over there. She's
Yeah,
hanging.
I enjoy the butter
Uh,
subtitles.
Good. Thank you. I enjoy creating content with her. It's been a game changer for sure.
You rescued her in the Philippines, right?
I did, yeah. She found me. She found me. I was living with Kyle Jennerman, becoming Filipino in Cagayan de Oro, like my first. I don't know how many days or how many years I was there for, but it was within the first, I think, 6 months. And we were, well, as you know, like we traveled around the Philippines a lot together, and we would go out on these trips and come back. And um, during that period of time, there's a lot of stray dogs, obviously, in the Philippines, most parts of Asia. A lot of people can't, afford to feed their families. How are they going to take care of these dogs, right? So as sad as it is, there is a lot of stray dogs, and I want to take care of all these dogs. Like if I could, I would. And I'd see all these dogs, and I was just like, I can't do it right now. But if one were to show up on my doorstep, I'd take care of it. And she quite literally did that. Like she just showed up at our compound when Kyle and I were on a trip. And Boding, one of my best friends, he's like, Brad, there's this dog here that just showed up out of nowhere. Like I was like, no way. And he's like, yeah, it's a puppy. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like there's actually like a dog showing up on my doorstep, and he sent me pictures and stuff, and I was so excited to get back and see it. And yeah, there she was, just like sleeping underneath our couch outside. And I just felt obligated to take care of her. Like I grew up in a family that, we adopted a lot of dogs and a lot of pets. And um, so seeing her just like super malnourished and covered in fleas and grease and bugs and all this stuff, I was just like, well, this is it. Like I'm taking care of this little puppy. And yeah, ever since then, she's been a blessing in my life for sure.
She's your boo.
She's my boo. She's my boo thing. Yep, for sure. She's the I don't want to say the only girl in my life, but she's she's the one for sure.
Yeah, I want to ask you, how was
Uh-oh.
it
I
flying
lost you,
with her?
Angie. Okay, we're back.
Technical difficulties. So I was talking about my dog, how she, like, I couldn't even take her on the plane, and I couldn't even consider doing that because she had heart problems, and she wouldn't make the flight probably. I couldn't even, like, she wasn't neutered, so I couldn't even neuter her because she would
Is
make
this
the
your dog in
surgery.
Russia or your dog in Bali?
In the Philippines, I didn't have a dog.
You had a dog in the Philippines?
I had, yeah. She
Oh.
she passed away,
Oh,
and
I'm
during
sorry.
the pandemic, I wasn't able to say bye. So
Yeah. Oh, that's tough.
no, that
It's
was
weird because they turn into they turn into a family member. Like it's just you get so personal with them. Like I'm with Butter every day, so I can't even imagine if I didn't. Like
yeah,
I don't even want to say it, but yeah, that's tough. Sorry to hear that.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so she was like the best Aspen Askal ever. She was like so gentle, so like cuddly and needy or clingy, not needy.
Clingy. Well, yeah, I took my dog to the vet in Canada, like where I'm from, and even he said he's like, this breed of dog, like whatever they call them around the world. I know in the Philippines they call them aspens, other places they call them like mutts or whatever. But the street dogs, I guess, they're super loyal. He's like they're the most loyal out of pretty much most breeds, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're special.
How's did you have any like health issues or anything? I saw like in the video that you took her to the vet, so all good.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in the beginning. Like she had some I can't remember now off the top of my head because it was like it seemed to be a never-ending thing in the Philippines, especially. I know when I first got her stomach was like super bloated. She had like worms, I think, and
Mm,
then proceeded on to like I can't remember. It's in the vlog. If I can't remember if it's liver or kidney or something, and then something to
mm,
do with her blood. And she was peeing blood and like a
mm,
lot of nasty stuff. And even when I brought her back to Canada, that was kind of when she finally got to like 100% health, I guess you would say, because she had a lot of health complications and it took a lot of time and money, but yeah, she's good now.
that's
Super good.
good.
You can tell too, like people I know that watch the vlogs are just like she looks so happy, like and it's true because I mean in the Philippines where we lived, especially during the pandemic, we couldn't go out. Like I know we said in the in the beginning, like we were in lockdowns and all of that sort of thing, and being in a city, like I mean, don't take this personally if you have a dog and you live in a city, but I personally don't think it's healthy for an animal to live inside and in a city where they can't run and be free. And as soon as she got to Canada, especially where I live, like my island is like I said, 500 residents, big as Kemigan. There's no predators on my island. There's just deer and like eagles and all this stuff. So she changed for the better. Like she's just like finally freedom, like ultimate freedom. And I think
Yeah,
that I think that helps. Like they have hearts and they feel things too, right? So when they're free and you know free to do what they want and run around, you can tell they're just happier all around. And I think that has a huge impact on their health. And yeah, it was pretty cool to see.
yeah. She
Yeah,
bloomed. No, that I
yeah,
think that's amazing
yeah.
for a dog to, you know, be able to run around freely and just, you know, enjoy
Oh
that
yeah,
freedom.
they're animals. They need it. They have to. If they're cooped up in like a little apartment all the time, it's like of course they're going to be sad. They're just like us. If we're cooped up inside all the time and we're not being out in nature and doing what humans and dogs are supposed to do, then we're not living and we're not happy. So yeah, she's living the dream.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so I watched I forgot which vlog was it. It was I think about butter, and wouldn't you know it, we share a birthday.
You and Butter do?
Yeah, mine is June 21st, and I was like,
Yes.
oh, no way.
No way.
He's a Gemini. You can tell.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's June. Dude, I'm so bad with birthdays. Like sometimes I don't, it's just, because this is gonna sound really bad, but I have a hard time remembering like my family members' birthdays, like my mom and my dad. I get confused. So I can't remember if it's June or July, but we'll go with you guys have the same birthday.
No, I mean, like you said it in your vlog, so that's
Okay, good. Okay. That's
definitely
awesome.
a Gemini.
That's awesome.
Was that her?
That was, yeah. She's just going to lay out in the sun.
Mm.
Yeah.
That dog life.
I know.
So let me consult to my list. I think what do you think was like your defining moment in life?
In life?
Yeah.
God. I mean, there's a lot of moments, a lot of struggles, a lot of shit. But defining for me, like, would be just finding that like moment of just like ultimate happiness and like realizing it. And I think that was in Siargao, in 2019. I spent a lot of time there. Like my sister and I went to Siargao when we were backpacking. Like we went there in 2017. We ended up spending a month there. Fell in love with the people and the place, obviously, as I did with the rest of the Philippines. But I ended up going back there. We filmed that movie there, which is how I got introduced to vlogging, because Will Dasovich was my roommate. And but I spent a lot of time there prior to that, like while I was living in the Philippines. And yeah, there was just this moment when I was out on the water and I was surfing, and it was like a sunrise surf, I guess you'd say. So it was super early, and I just remember being out in the water and like just realizing that I was like free and like living the dream, basically, because I went through a tough time like after high school and playing hockey and then trying to figure out what the hell I was doing with my life. And I was really, really depressed and really sad and struggled a lot, you know, in the prior years. And just finding that moment, that turning point where I was like, again, I was so emotional. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, like this is that feeling I've been chasing for so long. It's just like the ultimate freedom and happiness. So it was in the water when I was surfing in Siargao at Cloud 9. Well, there's another surf break there called Quicksilver. It's beside where like the huge wave is. There's Cloud 9, Quicksilver, Jack and Horse. It was the one in the middle, and it was so surreal. I say that, yeah, that was definitely like the defining moment, because that just changed my perspective, because it was like I finally achieved that feeling I've never felt before of just being like free and happy. So yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was all right. What about you?
While you were telling your story, I remembered a moment similar to this, but I would say it was like more gratitude. And even though it was, I would say, like kind of a low point in life, it was during the pandemic when the Philippines was closing. And then I just had a breakup, was still going through that. And my Russian friends were there. So we all rented a villa in Nusa Dua. I don't know if you've been. It's like really beautiful.
In Indonesia, right?
Yeah, in Bali.
Yeah.
So it's like, anyways, doesn't matter. So it was just like this beautiful, beautiful villa. It was huge. It was like fancy. And it was before their New Year, like the day before New Year, Nyepi, I think. And they usually, what they do, they celebrate the night before, and the next day is quiet day, silence day. So they just stay at homes. So no internet. And this villa had really bad internet. Even like reception was not available. So I woke up pretty early and I went for a swim, like in this beautiful pool overlooking the beach. And even though I was sad, I was just like, in this, fancy villa, kind of realizing like I've made it.
Right.
In a way, it was just like, oh my God, I'm able to afford such a beautiful life, and I've worked so hard for it. And it was like the gratitude for towards me that like I did
Yeah,
it.
yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome. And like, so your moment, that moment, were you physically in the water? Were you
I
in the
was in the
pool?
water. I was just like
I
overlooking. Yeah.
that's funny because I was like this on my surfboard and I was in the water, like, and just being like, I don't know, there's some attachment. I'm sure you have it too, to the ocean and the
Mhm.
water. And I think that's why we love the Philippines so much. It's just no matter where you are, usually for the most part, if you're not in a city, you're on an island or you're on a beach somewhere and you're just like, yeah, like that moment of gratitude. That's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful thing. And not a lot of people have experienced that yet in life, but some people have, and I'm fortunate that I have, because now it's like I try to, try to find, not find gratitude, but like just be aware of it and be, look how far you've come and what you have now. Like, even though, I might not be super wealthy or anything, but my wealth that I appreciate most now is just being free and like being able to travel and not have any strings holding me back attached to anywhere, which is, I'm sure you're in the same boat. So that's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's cool.
I think it's especially strong when you recognize and like, this is it. This is my
Yeah.
achievement. Like I've made it. I'm grateful for that. And especially if you had to go through a lot or like worked hard or like don't come from a wealthy family and you're like, this is, I did it. Like I'm
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I kind of like cringe at YouTubers who are like, I quit, I don't know, 9 to 5 job and now I'm like so free. And I never actually took pride in that because I was just like so stubborn. I never actually wanted to work in the office. But yeah, it was like that freedom.
Yeah. That's all I think I'll ever chase now in life. It's never, and I don't think it ever will be about the money. I mean, my goal is to earn enough to suffice my health and my travel needs. And, obviously the end goal is to not have to worry about finance anymore, but my ultimate goal forever is just freedom and happiness. And it's, yeah, I think that's priceless in itself. Definitely.
Just money itself doesn't, if you're just chasing money and there's nothing attached to it, I think it's, I don't know, shallow. Or if
Yeah.
it gives you something, that it's not a bad thing. I grew up believing that, oh, if you're rich, you're like blah blah blah, you're, I don't know, an asshole, or like you're not a good person, you're evil or greedy or whatever. But I've grown to realize that it gives me so much otherwise, like experiences and freedom that otherwise I probably wouldn't have. I mean, it's, money doesn't buy happiness, but it does.
It
It
does.
sure
If
does.
yeah, it definitely does. Like, I remember my sister and I moved in with her at one point, and we were living in a trailer, like we lived in a trailer park. And I remember just like I used to work for this mechanic shop, and I was just like cleaning and sweeping and washing cars, and I had to take the insurance off my vehicle because I couldn't afford to pay my rent, and I was biking to work and back. And like, I just remember being like, this isn't enough. Like, I wasn't happy, and I was like, I just need enough to, well, I didn't really know what I wanted at the time, but I know like financially, I was like, this isn't enough. Like, I need something where I can afford to feed myself really well. And yeah, money matters to a certain extent, I think, to get you out of the place that you might have been in or whatever. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know how to put it. It's hard to think about all of it, but not the thing that I chase. Definitely, I'm not chasing money. Definitely not.
I think that that's good. Do you have anything you want to ask me before we end?
When are you going back to the Philippines, Angie?
when it's safer. I just what we discussed earlier. Just paid for until December 23rd, I think, the rent, and I don't think I can get it back. And yeah, as soon as it's safer and it's not like a 2 week window that you have to like slip through.
jam in there, and then I don't know, you're seeing all those other things about the new variants, which I try not to pay attention to, because it just puts fear in people's hearts and eyes and mind. But it's a very, I don't know, unpredictable thing. So yeah, I think maybe waiting a little bit is okay too.
Yeah, it's like when it's stable, when it's safe, when
Yeah. No, I don't really have anything.
Are you gonna go back to Cagayan de Oro or?
Yeah, definitely. Like as much as it is a city, it's like it's my second home. I love that place so much. So I'll definitely, I think that's probably the first place I'll go back when I go back to the Philippines, and just regroup with my friends and my family, and then go from there. Yeah. I'm gonna try to stay out of Manila as much as I can. It's a trap.
I have a love-hate relationship with Manila, but I think it's like I'm trying to work on staying in the Philippines for like, I don't know, ever, but it's hard, officially, or I don't know, like there's only so much you can do, like marry a Filipino or invest, I think, $75,000 into the Philippine economy, or I don't know, otherwise how else can you stay?
That's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm researching a bunch of
too early for retirement visa.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would apply. The guy's retired.
I know. Well, I don't know. Maybe someone watching this can help you get a working visa. How did you get a student visa?
I went to a university.
In the Philippines?
Yeah, they have an online university that you can. I'll tell you more about that if you want. But it's an actual school. I actually enrolled and I actually studied there. For a little bit. I didn't pursue it because I didn't like the curriculum.
Yeah. What was it?
Because I wanted to study psychology, so that's what I went for. And aside from psychology, there were like 6-7 subjects that you had to pass. And I already have a degree, so I'm like, I feel like I'm wasting my time just trying to like pass through the tests on geology.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very appealing to me.
It doesn't, because the major is psychology, and I'm like, I understand why there are like several subjects to for critical thinking.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't have this much time, so I want to focus on the subject that I'm interested in. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, last thing I want to ask, what are your dreams and goals? What are you excited about in the future? Aside from going back to the Philippines.
Dreams and my goals. Like I said, I just want to just keep being free and ultimate happiness, and just like, I want to keep making videos forever, and I may not make them forever with YouTube, but I think my goal right now is just to find a consistent pattern in terms of being able to upload more for the family that I've created on the internet, because I know they want to see more. I'm very not picky with what I upload, but like I couldn't upload every day. I could never daily vlog. I've tried it. I think it's a bit ridiculous. And
I think that's fine. With daily, sorry to interrupt you. With daily vlogging, that's when you need an editor, because that's all you'll be doing, shooting and editing, and that's it. And that gets old.
Yeah, I've tried, and it's just, for me, it's not feasible. But I think my goal would to just be find a not a happy place, but a place where I can just be more consistent with making vlogs, but not stress about it and look at it as work, just to enjoy it. And yeah, just be more consistent. If I could find a place like that makes me equally as happy, that's my goal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So, thank you so much. Anything you want to say? Any farewell,
no, just
wise words?
Thank you for having me. I think this is actually important too, like communicating with anyone, friends, family, and whatnot. Like just talking, it makes me happier. Like talking to you through this podcast, it's just like, yeah, it lets you think about a lot, and it's healthy. So thank you for having me on here.
Thank you for struggling with me through the recording of this podcast.
We did it. We found a way. Hopefully
3
this
days.
is clear enough, but yeah, we did it. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We tried our best and it took so much effort. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions for us, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I don't know, just give us some feedback. What do you think about this podcast? Do you have any, anything? Give me anything. She's like, I'm just so
We want
happy.
feedback. We want feedback.
Give us feedback.